What the hell?
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Mezco Toyz 1/12 Collective Toy Fair exclusive Ascending Knight Batman. Now, I probably should have done this a couple of weeks ago, but there's something about the value of a toy that it makes me kind of leery to open it. Like, someday I'll end up on the streets, homeless, need food, and I'll be able to sell a toy. But the truth of the matter is, I've never sold anything on eBay or for value. I've given stuff away, I've traded stuff, never just, you know, oh, this is going for so-and-so, I'm gonna sell it for so-and-so. Whenever they surprised me at the Mezco booth by handing this out to me, I was more like, holy shit, I just got a kick-ass Batman. 15 minutes later, I had an offer to buy it there on the floor at Toy Fair. I couldn't do it. I wanted the Batman. And then I get home and see all these prices on eBay and think, maybe, but nope, here I am. I'm gonna open this sumbitch and I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it. Looking at the box, very sparse, very plain, but very effective. The bat symbol, it just instills fear in our criminal black hearts. Logo, Toy Fair exclusive sticker. On the end, essentially same thing, just different order. On the back, nice stylized picture. Gives you kind of a hint of what's in the box, but doesn't blow the surprise. On the side, again, same thing, just, you know, different order. Oh, it's not worth a damn thing. Airplane damage. Top, not a lot of difference. On the bottom, not much else. Barcode, DC logo, a little bit of legalese. Warning, don't shove it in your mouth. But I'm gonna get this open and see how it feels in my hand. Getting it out of the box, you have the triple layer of goodness. You have the bottom, which is, I've heard of these. I don't actually have a Batman with the stand, but I've heard these are a bear. This is for flaring the cape out. I don't know if I'll even take a look at that. I love the stands for 1/12 Collective. They're nice and sturdy and hold up weight, unlike some other stands. And then on the stand, you think, oh, it's just black. That's kind of weird, but it's got a bat logo on it. Then you have another layer that it just has a baggie between it. And the top's protecting the figure itself and the gadgets and the extra hands. And holy hell, that's a lot of batarangs. Ooh, and there we go. All out of the box and impressive. This is damn impressive. I am still a Mezco newbie, so I don't know all the base bodies that they're using on their figures underneath the cloth, but this Batman represents an early career. He's just getting started, so I like that they used kind of a thin build for it. Now the Batsuit on top of that, it's some kind of magical material that looks pretty good for the scale, and then it has some rubber overlay in parts. And I like the contrast between the two. It makes it interesting to look at in a lot of spots while bringing it all together with the flat parts. There's just a nice balance of both there. And then the sculpt work that is on top of the costume, like the emblem on the chest, the bat belt, the boots, the gloves, those are all nicely done. And it helps bring the whole costume together as one overall piece. And then getting up to the head, my problem with 1/12 Collective a lot of the time is that the material of the head or the mask doesn't match the rest of the costume. But here with that flat rubber look of some of the parts of the costume, it just flows right up to the cowl perfectly. At first I had a problem with the long ears, but thinking of this as kind of a first appearance with Mezco's spin on it, it works. I like it. It's like Batman went for that, hey, I'm going to be a bat, let's overdo it a little bit. And I have to say, it's grown on me as I've played with it. But the head isn't as rubbery as I was expecting. Usually there's a little bit of give to it, but these are sharp and they don't want to bend at all. I'm almost afraid that if I grab it, I'm going to snap the ears off. I don't think they will, but I'm not putting any excessive force on there just in case. And then another problem I have with the head, if you try to get too extreme with the pose, looking up or looking down, it likes to pop off the ball if you work it a little bit too much. It's not easy to pull off, but if you have them crouched down or you're trying to do some kind of Batman pose, it does like to, hey, up yours. But the few Mezcos I do have, I've always had a problem with the ankle articulation. It seems like here, maybe it's the design of the boot, it's thinner, something, but they did get a nice range here, and even side to side, lots of tilt. So I'm happy about that. I'm also very happy with this cape. In the package, it's like this. It's folded over. It's in the neutral position, you know. It looks like kind of a small cape, but if you fold it out, it gets larger, and it's just the way it's folded. There's a pleat in it, and you can bring it around. And that looks nice too. It doesn't want to lay quite right. I want it to be down on his body, you know, Dark Knight style. But it being material, it likes to poof out a little bit. Just take that at the pleat, and if you bring it back, then it goes back into action mode, or, you know, him bumming around the cave. Now, if you look at it from the back, yeah, it looks folded over. But you know what? Not a huge deal. It works. And then really, when it comes down to it, the only big difference, referring to my handy dandy catalog I got in the same bag I got this in, if you look at the standard version of Ascending Knight, the costume's a little bit gray, where this one's completely black. And then, of course, you have the gold belt, whereas this one's black. As far as I can tell, everything else is the same. They did change it to 10 batarangs for the official solicitation. I think originally it said 6 or something like that. And I'm still working on a video of going through this, so if anybody's interested in that, let me know down in the comments. But going over articulation, up in the neck, there is a ball going up into the head, and then there's a ball down at the bottom, essentially a dumbbell joint on top. And you can get forward, you can get up, you can get some tilt, swivel. At the shoulder, it seems like there's a small butterfly joint. Again, there's cloth. I can't see under it, and I'm sure as hell not going to cut it away. I think there's forward and back there. There may be some up and down, so maybe it's a ball joint going into the torso and then out to a hinge and swivel at the shoulder, because that comes up. Swivels around. I stop it about right there. That's where the material starts bunching. But that's straight up. Still fairly impressive. Elbow comes most of the way up. Swivel hinge swivel at the wrist. You can get side to side, or if you move it around, you can get up and down. I'm not quite sure what's at the torso, but if you look under there, it looks like abs. The abs come through the rubber part. That's pretty cool. But you can get crunch to there, arc back, side. The belt does float, so you can get it up out of the way of the hips. There's some kind of magic going on down there. You can bring them all the way forward, back about that far, and all the way out. Knee joint doesn't come all the way up, but he does have some musculature there that does get in the way. But shit. Ball joint at the ankle gives you swivel, back, forward, tilt, and tilt. For accessories, Batman comes with several sets of hands. He comes with a pair of fists. He comes with a pair of batarang gripping hands. He comes with a pair of open grip hands, and then he comes with a trigger finger right hand. And like the head, they're not as rubbery as I've experienced in the past. They pop off nicely, but they are kind of tight to get back on the peg. They're not import SH Figure Arts Mafex tight, but they go on, they're secure. I'm not going to complain. He comes with 10 batarangs. This seems like a little bit of overkill, but they are small, they are tiny. You may be apt to lose a couple while still having some extras, so you shouldn't run out of batarangs. But one thing to watch here is the static when you take it out of the package. They like to stick to the plastic, so if you dump everything out and you don't have enough batarangs, check the plastic again. Putting that in his hand, you have to find that sweet spot where the thumb and the forefinger are the closest, and then kind of get it in there. It likes to stay once it's in. Not bad. But also, if you want the splayed out open hands, you can also fit those between the fingers. You can really get 3 in there if you want. Kind of crazy throwing 3 at the same time kind of thing. He comes with this crazy Tranq gun. It's essentially a handle with a crossbow, and it has some darts kind of feeding into it. I know it's kind of hard to see in the black, but it's cool. And I thought you'd put that in this hand with the batarang, but you don't. It doesn't open all the way, so you can't get the handle in. You have to use the trigger finger hand and just kind of slip the handle in. My problem is it doesn't really like to line up. You put it back, and it's more facing to the inside than it is going straight down his arm. You can get a little bit closer by turning his wrist. Not bad, but I don't see myself using this a lot. Another accessory is the bat brick. I have no clue what this is. It's got a hinge in the middle. You can take it, fold it in half, but what does that do? You can put it in the grip, but is it for, I don't know, blunt force? Shit. I don't know. And then finally is the grappling gun, which is probably my favorite piece here. It comes with a couple of hook accessories, and really, the sculpt is nice on it. Now that goes into the trigger finger hand. You have to kind of force it in, and there you go. And then as far as hooks go, there's a neutral position. You can put that in the end, and that kind of completes the look of the gun. You can have the prepared to fire hook, put that in there, and kind of aim, getting ready. And then there's the hook with the string on it. It's got a little piece, which is kind of hard to put in the end of the gun. Get in there, get in there, there you go. And that's pretty cool. You hook it to something and stretch it out. You can simulate grappling. But then on the back of the figure, which is essentially the rest of the costume continued on around the back, there is a holstered clip piece that you can kind of slip this in. I don't know if this is right, but this is the way that works for me. And once you get that popped in there, it's pretty secure, and it's hidden behind the cape. And then the final accessory is the unmasked Bruce Wayne head. I feel like this is a little bit plain. There could be a little bit more shading to the skin. The eyes could be slightly more realistic. What I remember of the Punisher, he looks beat up, he looks dirty. This, Yeah, it's Bruce Wayne. He's dapper. He's clean. The sculpt is good. What Panther is good. I just feel like it needs a little bit more oomph. And then, like I talked about, the head's pretty simple to pop off. And then you pop this one on. The cleanness of the face kind of contrasts nicely against the blackness of the costume here. For comparison, here's Ascending Knight Batman with the 1/12 Collective Captain America. I can't really tell if it's a different body underneath. It may be, and Cap's costume is a little bit thicker, making him look a little bit broader, wider, but I still like that it kind of contrasts. Batman looks younger, more lithe, more agile. Here he is with the SH Figure Arts Dark Knight Batman. Mezco's just a larger scale. That's how it works. Here he is with the Mattel DC Universe Classics, what I call the Brave and the Bold Batman. It kind of fits together. The head sizes are off, but again, that's Mattel. And here he is with the Marvel Legends Black Panther, just to give you an overall size. So at the end of the day, like I said, I'm very, very impressed with this figure. I like the added articulation from some of the other figures I've gotten. Again, I'm a newbie to the line. I don't have a lot out and open. I have some boxed that I need to open and play with, but as far as this one's concerned, I think this may be my favorite 1/12 Collective figure so far. The look, for what it's supposed to represent, nails it. Mezco put their own spin on that first appearance Batman, and I absolutely love it. The all black kind of throws me off. Don't get me wrong, I know why they did it, but as far as I'm concerned, this is his stealth suit. For a minute, I thought I was going to cancel my standard version, but I still want that. I want the grayness to it. And in fact, I'd kind of like to see alternate purple gloves for that costume. This one's staying as is. The black is just striking against the rest of the characters. It makes me want more DC, which I did not want before this figure. I don't have a Joker yet, but I do have the deluxe version on pre-order. Now I absolutely cannot wait to put that against this, or that punk version of Joker. In fact, that would look even better with this. This makes me want to get Catwoman. This makes me want to get Deathstroke. I did not want to travel down this road. Damn you, Mezco. I consider myself super lucky to have been able to get this. I know a lot of people aren't going to be able to get this, and I wish this was a standard version or an easier to get variant. And since the standard version is pretty much this with a couple of different colors, you're going to be super happy when you get that version. Hell, I'm thinking about getting the blue version now. What is wrong with me? So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. I have no clue how this thing works. Research time, I guess. What in the hell?